The Rock is losing thousands of fans per hour. Why? In the domain of WrestleMania, where the limelight shines brightest, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson accomplished a feat that has never been accomplished before. He stirred up a storm that even his tremendous presence was unable to weather. It was not a wrestling move or a compelling speech that distinguished this moment. Rather, it was an unforeseen turn of circumstances that led to the precipitous decline in the number of followers he had on Instagram. A film that was the most loathed at WrestleMania, a production that received more disdain than any other video in the history of the event, was the beginning of everything. However, that should just be considered the top of the iceberg. The Rock's blunders extended far beyond the confines of the ring, encompassing events such as cringe-inducing podcast appearances and a disastrous fundraiser that demonstrated how alienated he had grown from his fanbase. After being acclaimed as the very definition of genuineness, he suddenly appeared to be more of a walking, talking advertisement, a caricature of the person he had been in the past. His own web of lies, which he had painstakingly crafted over the course of his life, constituted perhaps the most devastating blow to his reputation. But Rock found himself caught up in a web of dishonesty that he had created for himself, from exaggerating his earnings from movies to embellishing his experiences during his time at fast food restaurants. Consider, for example, his infamous assertion in 2017 that he had never been inside of an In-N-Out burger restaurant, which was a statement that appeared to be harmless at the time. After 5 years have passed, The Rock is confronted with his own comments thanks to the appearance of a film showing him indulging in a feast at In-N-Out burger. After being caught in the act, he makes an effort to salvage face by doubling down on his lie and claiming that this is his first time interacting with a well-known fast food restaurant. But things get more complicated. When one digs deeper into the annals of his social media history, one discovers yet another contradiction. A post from years ago in which The Rock admits to picking up In-N-Out for friends, despite the fact that he claims to have never eaten it himself. A more intricate web of lies is being woven, and The Rock's reputation, which was once impeccable, is beginning to fall apart at the seams. As the dust settles, The Rock is confronted with the repercussions of his actions, which include a diminishing number of followers on Instagram and a ruined legacy that even his towering presence is unable to rescue. In a world where genuineness is regarded as the most important quality, The Rock discovers the hard way that honesty is, in fact, the best policy. When The Rock boldly announced for the third time that he was going to be experiencing his first time at In-N-Out Burger, the story of his culinary escapades took yet another weird turn. Because of this time he went even farther, pretending to be ignorant about proper manners when eating fast food and bumbling through the ordering process with all the dexterity of a novice. Even though he made an effort to congratulate himself, his actions were not overlooked by anybody watching. The spectacle was pounced upon by mainstream media sites, and a video on Penguin Zero that was extremely critical had more than 6 million views, bringing The Rock's lies back into the spotlight for all to see. When it came to the domain of fictional gourmet tales, this was not The Rock's first time dabbling in the field. 2 earlier instances of him allegedly enjoying In-N-Out pleasure remain imprinted on his Instagram profile, acting as devastating evidence of his recurrent lying. These occurrences were found on his Instagram page. As the level of scrutiny increased, The Rock was compelled to adjust his tale. He did so in a bashful manner, modifying his description to reflect his previous experiences with the renowned burgers. At the same time, he expressed gratitude to fans who had been paying close attention for their timely reminders. Nevertheless, The Rock's reputation, which had been spotless up until that point, was tainted by more than simply his propensity for telling wild tales. Even if it was for all the wrong reasons, the release of Black Adam in December 2022 turned out to be another occasion that proved to be essential. A bombshell was dropped by Insider after the film's box office returns were not very impressive. The publication disclosed that the movie was on track to incur considerable losses, which was a far cry from The Rock's optimistic declarations of profitability just a few days earlier. It was revealed that The Rock himself had provided journalists with misleading information and cooked the books in order to present a more favorable picture of the film's commercial prospects. This revelation came as allegations of financial underhandedness were circulating. On the other hand, it was The Rock's questionable assertions on his eating routine and workout routine that actually put the limits of believing something to the test. From bragging that he consumes an astounding 6,000 to 8,000 calories per day in order to maintain his Herculean figure, to fitness professionals rejecting the notion as nothing more than pure imagination, The Rock's fabrications reached ludicrous heights. Not only did his insistence on spreading these lies help to further erode the faith of his once loyal fans, but it also caused many people to question not only his integrity but also his grasp on reality. After everything was said and done, as The Rock's towering veneer collapsed under the weight of his own lies, one couldn't help but wonder what else lied beneath the surface of this once revered icon. After the dust settled and the truth was revealed, The Rock found himself struggling not only with the consequences of his lies, but also with the sobering knowledge that his carefully created character had been constructed on a foundation of sand. This was a difficult lesson for him to come to terms with. Greg, who was a keen observer of fitness and authenticity, investigated The Rock's assertions regarding his dietary habits in great detail. He questioned how The Rock could possibly consume the alleged 6,000 to 8,000 calories inside a single day. Greg remained doubtful, underscoring the difference between The Rock's statements and the reality of maintaining such an intake. The Rock said that his meal plan consisted of approximately 3,000 calories, but Greg remained skeptical. In addition to that, the doubt continued. Greg was not impressed by The Rock's raw and uncut leg training DVD, which was marketed as an intensive and unique challenge by The Rock himself. Greg threw doubt on the veracity of The Rock's claims by observing his obvious struggle and grimaces during the routine. He suggested that the weight lifted, while amazing for many, should have been a mere trifle for someone of The Rock's stature and power. Greg's observations included observing The Rock's grimaces and his apparent difficulty. Nevertheless, in the middle of these criticisms, the most crucial claim loomed large: the suspected usage of performance-enhancing chemicals by The Rock. When Greg bluntly stated that there was not a chance in hell that The Rock got his body organically, especially as he went into his 50s, he did not mince his words and made his statement without hesitation. Greg, echoing the thoughts of others in the fitness industry, questioned The Rock's claims of engaging in clean living and testosterone replacement therapy. Greg hypothesized that The Rock may have engaged in a veritable cocktail of chemicals in order to preserve his larger-than-life body. During the time that allegations of steroid use were being distributed, The Rock found himself in the middle of yet another controversy: his appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast. Many listeners regarded the episode to be unimpressive, and many accused The Rock for avoiding hard themes and displaying a clear lack of genuineness. This was in spite of the fact that the episode had been the subject of excitement and anticipation. In spite of the fact that Joe Rogan has previously accused The Rock of using steroids, Rogan considered The Rock's hesitancy to be extremely noticeable. Adding fuel to the fire, The Rock's role in WWE took a controversial turn when he appeared to inject himself into a championship feud with Roman Reigns. This move was received with significant backlash and charges of nepotism, which added fuel to the fire. The Rock's legacy was further tarnished as a result of the ensuing disapproval they received from fans, which resulted in the now infamous WWE highlight becoming the most despised video in the history of WWE. As a result of these controversies, The Rock's once healthy following on social media started to decrease, which marked a dramatic decline in his popularity. The Rock's carefully manufactured image as a paragon of honesty began to crumble, prompting many people to question the genuine nature of his persona. This was due to the fact that he made nutritional claims that were questionable, and he was reluctant to answer criticism. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.